California never ceases to amaze me. It just gets worse and worse. First, you give illegal immigrants driver's licenses, and everyone's like, what's the big deal? There's no problem. Fast forward, now you give illegal immigrants healthcare benefits under the taxpayer dime, costing the taxpayers $12 billion a year. Now, there's information coming out that the California state government, also using federal funding through the Department of Social Services, is funding some of these protests. The ACLU has call centers all over California called Rapid Response Networks to report any ICE activity in the area, and they are all over California. But I want to highlight one specifically, the Coalition of Humane Immigration Rights Los Angeles, SHRLA. SHRLA has received $34 million of taxpayer state funds through the Department of Social Services. And not only that, they also received $450,000 in grants in October 2021 and September 2024 from the Department of Homeland Security. And what these California Rapid Response Networks are through the ACLU, specifically SHRLA, are snitch networks, basically aiding and abetting illegal immigrants to avoid detection, detainment, and deportation. What they also do is collaborate, organize, and meet up to wherever the ICE activity is occurring, and they're there to protest and harass federal agents. Taxpayer dollars should not be funding any type of political activism, regardless of where you stand on this issue. Furthermore, it shouldn't be funding activities that prohibit federal law enforcement to conduct their duties. They also shouldn't be funding the defense of criminals and gang members. Currently, some state assembly members and state senators, along with the FBI and the federal government, are conducting an investigation, so information will slowly come out. But some of this information is actually available to view. However, it's pretty hard to find through Fiscal. Fiscal is the financial system for all of California. You can't really see in detail what is being purchased, but you can see where the money is going. And SHRLA is just one of the many groups and organizations getting funded by California taxpayer dollars. Another is one of the most powerful organizations in California, the SEIU Labor Union. SEIU is not just funded by California taxpayer dollars, it's also funded by their members, the California state employees. Now, I just want to be very clear. I know for a fact, because I know a lot of people who work for the state, they are not for any of this illegal immigration, and they have no control with what SEIU does with their dues. The people who are for this, that are part of SEIU, are its president, the elite who control the organization, like the board, and the very, very small, loud minority, roughly around 30% of the union and state employees. And I completely understand that labor unions are traditionally a little left-leaning, more on the liberal side. I understand that. But SEIU is 100% full-blown Marxist. They have the fist and everything. David Huerta, their president, is one of the biggest Marxist multimillionaire grifters out there. David Huerta was recently arrested and released on bond for $50,000 for assaulting an ICE agent while conducting an arrest. And one of the things about David Huerta, because he's a multimillionaire and also has access to all the union dues, it is very clear and evident if you go onto their Facebook website or their website in general that they contribute large amounts of donations to Democrat candidates all across the state. Not just David Huerta himself, SEIU. SEIU also contributed thousands of dollars to the anti-recall Gavin Newsom effort. And because David Huerta and the SEIU are such large donors to these Democrat campaigns, it's no wonder they don't condemn the violence and expose the funding and fraud behind these protests and riots. And if it always seemed like these were well-funded, well-coordinated, and organized events, it's because they are. The unions have the money and do the Democrats' dirty work on the streets, while the Democrat politicians pass legislation that benefits the unions. And if you're wondering, okay, so where's the proof? There's a video that's gone viral with a black Ford F-150 parked in the middle of the protest and a guy in the back handing out a bunch of bionic face shields. Why do you need bionic face shields in a peaceful protest? I don't know. And of course, there's a bunch of other videos of buckets and baskets of bricks, rocks, and broken cinder blocks.
Hard to describe, where it just feels like something's going to happen and you're waiting for it to happen. And you can look around, you see the National Guard in front of the federal building, but as far as this intersection where we're seeing all this take place, there's no local police to be seen.
Yeah.
And we have people handing out masks and gas masks, and we just saw people graffitiing the sidewalk right in front of this truck, and we've seen people doing burnouts in the street. There's no local law enforcement around.
Let us clarify, because we've been showing a wide shot and from a different angle, a whole lot of officers on the other side of the federal building, almost behind you, and perhaps the visual is obstructed from your point of view. But I can tell you there are many, many, many LAPD cars and officers there that have staged. They are blocking that freeway.
So, I mean, that was quite a shot that we have there of these folks, and your photographer just gave us a great shot of the box that was left behind, which showed the brand of mask. I mean, it's not the kind of thing, thank you for seeing this there. It looks like a bionic shield is what that's called. I mean, that's not the kind of thing that you buy in bulk if you don't plan on doing something with it. And the fact that that's being handed out kind of like candy to everybody gives you an indication that these folks probably plan to be here for a while.
I know there's going to be people that are going to say, well, it's because they're trying to protect themselves because they know that the Gestapo fascist police are going to start using smoke bombs and start attacking them. And that's always the left-wing argument. However, I work in downtown Sacramento. I've seen a lot of protests for left and right-wing causes. Nothing happens as long as you're peaceful. If you don't attack law enforcement, nothing's gonna happen to you. Don't provoke anything. Baffo, mess around and find out. And if you need more proof about unions' involvements, this just came out a few days ago. The driver of the F-150 that was dropping off those bionic face shields is actually affiliated with Local 399 Teamsters for a Democratic union. And I know you're probably thinking, well, so what? He believes in the cause, he went to go help out, whatever. But I think it's kind of ironic that we have evidence that these unions and non-government organizations that donate to Democratic campaigns, protest and get involved and interfere with ICE agents are now here handing out bionic face shields in mass. And don't worry, I didn't forget about our good old friend, he who shall not be named. We'll call him Jorge as a nickname. Some evidence just came out that he is a heavy contributor to the best governor in the United States, Gavin Newsom. And if you want more proof about his involvement, aside from campaign donations, these protesters and rioters found out that holding up Mexican flags was incredibly unpopular. So there's footage now of them handing out American flags in mass to replace those Mexican flags. You can't tell me that's not staged and orchestrated by some bigger, faceless entity.
Are you gonna have those American flags? We got rid of all of them when they started coming. We were sitting ducks here, so we.
How many did you guys be able to?
Oh wait.
I think we got 5 or 6 out.
If you ask the Subaru right there,
but they're not put together.
Oh, they're not put together.
They're not put together.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was a good idea.
Right.
We're gonna bring them back out.
We're gonna bring them back out after.
Yeah.
Okay.
We might be back out in an hour.
Yeah.
They're marching from this. They're gonna start coming this
Yeah.
way.
I think that was a good idea after yesterday.
Yes.
But anyway, thank you guys.
Right on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the American flag? Wait, where?
He just handed it to me because I was on the top.
It's like a random guy. Oh, all right, thanks. Excuse me. I was looking for these flags. Where did you get this? Okay. Oh, are they just giving them out?
Yeah.
It's all by design, and it benefits the Democrat politicians, not just here, but all over the country. Because as you know now, as I'm recording this video, the protests are spreading everywhere. Seattle, Atlanta, San Francisco, everywhere. But of course they're not going to happen in Florida or Texas, because we all know what happens when you try to riot and loot and attack law enforcement in those states. So it's not a coincidence. It only happens in blue states, in blue cities. It's all planned, it's all coordinated. And what's crazy is that it goes even deeper. It's more sinister. It stops being about money and more about power. There's something called the Curley effect. It's named after James Michael Curley. He was a 4-time mayor in Boston between 1914 and 1955. It's a political strategy where leaders use policies to reshape the electorate in their favor, often at the expense of economic prosperity. Sound familiar? So the way it works is that politicians may enact inefficient or wealth-reducing policies, like high taxes, to drive out political opponents, to consolidate power among their loyal voter base. It could be things about ethnic or class-based appeals, like playing identity politics, like targeting certain types of ethnicities or gender identities. But I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not gonna work anymore. It's played out. It's done. They've done this playbook over and over and over again. And they use the legacy media to push the propaganda, to push the lies, the fake pollsters to push the fake numbers, and prep you mentally to push their agenda and their narrative. But now with independent media, YouTube, Instagram, even TikTok, things have changed. The landscape has changed. This is just a new thing. They did it with BLM and those riots. They did it with Pride, the transgender, and the rainbow flag. And now both of those have become wildly unpopular. And so now this is their new shift, immigration, which is very ironic because illegal immigration, even talking to classical liberals, to moderates, all the way down the line to the right, is wildly unpopular. No one supports illegal immigration, but yet this is where they're going because they have nothing else. They push too hard, and I think it's gonna backfire on them. They overplayed their hand. I'm hopeful that this could be the catalyst to start turning things around in the state of California.
We're in the Bolshevik war right now, bro.
Yeah,
Mel
so
K comes on my show, and she's like, she goes, I've been talking to some people in the intelligence, and they go, this gay pride stuff is going away. And the next thing you're going to see are immigration riots. This is going to be right around the next election. So hand to God, we do this episode. Next day, Starbucks is like, we're banning all the pride stuff. And now you start seeing they're putting little breadcrumbs out, man. Little breadcrumbs. Oh, I saw this one thing in Chicago. Oh yeah, illegal immigrants are upset about where they're staying. And these illegal immigrants who speak no English are holding up perfectly written English signs saying we're tired of how we're being treated. And now you're starting to see this over and over again. They're moving assets. I know it sounds crazy, but that is 100%
What do you mean they're moving assets? What do you mean?
Dude, these guys coming into the country, bro, have you seen them? A lot of them are Chinese, and a lot of them are military-age people. Too. And I'm telling you, they're moving, and this is what's going to be right around 2024 election, immigration riots, people going nuts.
Like, comment, share this video, and possibly subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.